So I've been thinking about lithium polymer batteries, these little LiPo batteries that you can get. Now I've got a few, I've got a couple of those and a couple of these ones and just the one of these. Now they're kind of expensive. They're not the cheapest things you can get. You can pick these ones up, these little this one's a 240 milliamp hour battery. This one came out of one of those little remote controlled helicopters I wasn't able to fly. I did a video about that a long time ago. I was terrible at it. But it's a really useful little battery. But the thing is, it is a little battery. It's only 240 milliamp hours. So you don't get an awful lot, but it's 3.7 volts, so it's useful. And the same with these ones. This one's a little different because it has three little connectors here. I assume one is a temperature sensor, potentially. I don't know, actually. I couldn't find a data sheet for this one, even though I bought it from, was it Farnell, I think? And this one was about £17. Farnell's an expensive place, but they sent it to me for free, so I didn't mind. And it's only 1,300 milliamp hours. Again, this one over here is 1,000 milliamp hours, and this one was about £10, so this was cheap too. And this one's one of those just power and ground, so that one's easy to charge. Well, they all are relatively easy to charge, but I don't think they're very cheap for what they are. I mean, you can pick up lithium ion cells like this one here. These are 14650, I think. No, 14500 cells. So they're similar to an AA battery. In fact, I've got one. So they're very similar in size. And it means they're really useful because you can use the same holders that you normally use. But the problem with these ones is they're a bit more difficult to charge because you have to have the specific holders. You don't necessarily have the right connectors on all these kind of boards that you can buy. Now, one of the boards that I've bought recently is the chip computer. And on that, you get one of these little JST connectors. And so I need a battery that's going to go in there. Now, I'm happy with this 1,000 milliamp hour battery. That one would be perfect. This one's not going to connect unless I change the connector on the end. So I'm not really going to use that one. And this one's just too darn small to really bother with. And in fact, 1,000 milliamp hour battery is probably going to be too small for this little board anyway. And then we get to these. These don't have the right connectors, and they're also quite bulky in comparison to these other batteries. So I picked something up off eBay and I thought, this seems interesting. And it's a lithium polymer battery for a PS4 controller, and it states 2,000 milliamp hours. And so I thought I'll pick one up. It was only £3.99. You can see the listing here. And that was delivered. So I thought, yeah, actually, I'm going to pick up a couple of those and we'll see what they're like. Now, these PS4 batteries, they come in a nice little plastic case. So they're sort of well protected, and they even come with a little cable so you can plug your PS4 controller in and charge. So I took one out. So this is what they look like. They have this nice JST connector on there, which is useful because that's exactly what I need. And on here you can see it states that it's a 2,000 milliamp hour battery, 3.7 volts, and it's a lithium ion. I'm not quite sure what the difference is between lithium polymer and ion. I know the charging is the same. I guess it's the material that's inside. So I did a little test. And so this battery started out fully charged at 4.159 volts. So I've charged it fully, then waited 30 minutes and tested the voltage. So it dropped it a little bit. And then I used a little boost converter. So similar to this. So admittedly, my testing procedure isn't great. I don't have a reliable method for testing these batteries. So I used one of these little boost converters. I put some wires from the battery to the input terminals, and then I connected one of these LED lights along with a little USB sort of doctor. Now this setup at 5 volts, I'll just show you with a connected battery pack here, was pulling, it's 1.4 to 1.6, 0.16 amps, so that's 160 milliamps. We've got a nice bright LED there. So I recorded the results over time, and I let that run until what I thought was going to happen, I would record the battery voltage and then decide to cut it off, but actually this has battery protection in there, so it cut itself off at about 3.1 volts. So the output on the charge doctor was 349 milliamps, and that was pulling out constantly at 160 milliamps. So not an awful lot. That either suggests, so it's certainly not 2000 milliamps that's in this battery, because the boost converter's efficiency is certainly better than that. And then I charged it from empty, and this is where we can really tell how much power is going in. So I charged it from empty to 4.163, and I measured that about 3 minutes after charge termination, and it had put 673 milliamps in via a little lithium battery charger, which was one of these. So I suspect it's a little bit closer to something like 750 milliamp hours or 800. I mean, it's possible that it's 1000 at a push, but that would mean that the efficiency of this is like 40% or something like that. Whereas I think the efficiency of this is probably something closer to 80% efficient. So let's open this up and see what's inside, because I think we're going to find, if there's any markings on this at all, we're going to find that this isn't a 2000 milliamp hour battery and it's a bit of a con. But at $3.99, it's still actually okay for the price, I think. But for a 2000 milliamp hour battery, I thought that I've got to go for it. So let's tear it open. I'll try and be careful. Let's find something here. That one might do it. I've got a mug over there, so if anything starts exploding, I'll throw it in there. Oh, I tell you what, I think I'm going to cut the video here and then we'll come back once I've torn it open. Right, I think I've sufficiently torn it open a bit. The terminals are right there where I was trying to jam my screwdriver in, so it's pretty dangerous. Let's see if I can just prise this last bit off. There's a bit of double-sided tape in there. Ooh. There we go, I've broken a bit of plastic off. I have to get the rest of this off and be very careful about it, I think. I don't want to damage the battery. That would be disastrous. Ouch. Well, just sliced my finger open there. That was clever. Damn. A bit of blood there. Right, so I've successfully torn it apart as well as cut myself. But unfortunately, there is nothing written on this battery that I can see. It feels fairly unprotected, so I'm going to try not to touch any of the wires going around the outside, because it looks like they are not covered in any of this plastic material that you usually get, which is probably why it's inside this protective case, which might mean I'll probably cover it in some Kapton tape. But yeah, it's definitely not the 2000 milliamp hours it claims. If I just, so this is what comes with it. So you've got a little, let's see if I can get that open. You get one of these little micro USB cables and the battery pack. Now I will keep them. I may not keep this one. I might dispose of that safely. But it does here, if you have a look, it does have a protection circuit just here. So actually that's really good that it comes with that. But I'm not very impressed by the capacity. Well, I was hoping that would be a little bit more revealing, but I suppose it goes to show that you can't trust what the sellers say on eBay. Along a similar line to these types of power banks, they sort of trick you with these marketing tactics. In this case, that's not a marketing tactic. It's certainly not 2000 milliamp hours. I would imagine with people with PS4s, it's probably likely that their batteries run down so much or isn't performing so well anymore that they don't notice that this is half the capacity that they're expecting. Anyway, thanks a lot guys, just thought I'd share that. A little bit annoyed that I've managed to cut myself on camera, but there we go. All right, I'll speak to you soon.